What is going on, everyone? We are weeks away from the NFL draft, and I have no idea what the Houston Texans are going to do with the 25th overall selection in the first round. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you were General Manager Nick Caserio, what are you doing with the 25th pick? I've seen hundreds of mock drafts already, and with pick 25, I've seen a left tackle, I've seen a guard, I've seen a wide receiver. I've seen a defensive tackle. The fan base is split. With that being said, I have a Houston Texans 3-round mock draft that I want you guys to react to. Obviously, I went heavy on the offense. The Houston Texans already got a Super Bowl caliber defense. You need to beef up this offensive line. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the mock draft. My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. And guys, I appreciate all the RIPs for my Uncle Dino. It means the absolute. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the mock draft, please give me a grade. Now, in the first round, pick 25 for the Houston Texans, I went with defensive tackle Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. He's 6'3", 296 pounds. Here's what Pro Football Network has to say. Walter Nolan is an athletic three-technique defensive tackle, which is a valuable asset in today's NFL. Combine that with his leap in production in 2024 and his top-notch pedigree, and it's not hard to see why many are high on him entering the NFL. Although only 21 years old, Nolan has showed improvement as a technician over the years, which has helped make him better use of his freakish combination of speed and power. He still has more development to do, but he has shown that he is coachable, and that's an important trait for future success. With an NFL ready frame and in game athleticism that's well above average for his position, Nolan figures to be an early round selection in the 2025 NFL draft if he can continue to develop his plan as a pass rusher and work on his pad level a little bit. Nolan possesses a high ceiling at the next level. Gifted young prospects with production at power four levels don't often fall out of the first round, and that's not going to happen because the Houston Texans are taking Walter Nolan with the 25th pick and making this already Super Bowl caliber defense better. You know, D'Amico Ryans, he has a magic to him. Whenever he gets his hands on these defensive players, they tend to play better. They tend to play some of the best football in their career. With that being said, in the first round, I'm going with Walter Nolan, and I finally get some youth at the defensive tackle spot that I've been wanting for the past couple of seasons. I could easily see Walter Nolan starting, ladies and gentlemen, and your starting front four is Will Anderson Jr., Walter Nolan, Sheldon Rankins, and Daniil Hunter. You guys let me know your thoughts on my first round pick. Round two, pick 58. I went with Jonah Savanea, offensive guard from Arizona. I invest into this Houston Texan offensive line. Jonah Savanea projects better as an offensive guard at the NFL level, where his average range as a blocker due to a lack of top-notch length and agility can be better masked. Because of his abilities in pass protection, his ceiling is arguably higher inside as well. A sturdy, well built offensive lineman with a powerful anchor, Savanea does a good job of keeping his pads low and his weight underneath them. Though he's primarily experienced as a zone run blocker, he has enough gap experience to project into that kind of system too. He also has a short body and keeps a wide base as a blocker. Savanea's inside-outside versatility should help him as he could realistically step in as a starter right away at whichever position his NFL team needs him at the most. He's a plug-and-play starter who could be a good tackle or a great guard. And it's just a matter of which of the two you would prioritize from there. I think here you would prioritize the pretty good guard because I think your left tackle this year is going to be Cam Robinson. That's all he played in the NFL so far in his 7.5 year career. Um, Now, if they would have went Kelvin Banks or Josh Simmons from the Ohio State in the first round, I would say those guys are your left tackle of the future. But Jonah Savannah has been projected as a guard, and a lot of people predict him to be pretty well. If you care about the RAS score, it's at a 9.19, so very high. Where I would put Jonah Savannah on the offensive line, let's go ahead and say right guard because I think you need right guard the most. Let me know your thoughts and comments about Jonas Savannah, my second round pick. Now, as we enter the third round, remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Texans have two selections. And I think they're only picking once in the third round. I think the Houston Texans are going to try to trade up for who? I have no idea yet, but General Manager Nick Caserio is very aggressive in the NFL draft. But if he stays at 79, I think they go with Jack Beck, wide receiver out of TCU. And this is your new wide receiver 3 for the Houston Texans. And it would not surprise me if Jack Beck is impactful as early as day one. 6'1", 214 pounds, a RAS score of 9.5. Jack Beck is a versatile and physical wide receiver who brings strong hands, sharp route running, and a tough play style to the field. He excels in contested catch situations, using his body control and strong hands to secure difficult grabs in traffic. Beck's ability to work both outside and in the slot makes him a valuable weapon in different offensive schemes. He has reliable ball skills, tracks the ball well, and shows a willingness to fight for extra yards after the catch. While not an elite burner, his toughness, football IQ, and playmaking ability make him a dependable and productive target. It sounds like what the Los Angeles Rams ask of their wide receivers: sharp route running, tough play style, football IQ. The Houston Texans are going to make their own version, the Nick Caley version. And I cannot wait to see what he does with the Jack Beck. But I think immediately Beck is your number 3 and your wide receiver group for the Houston Texans. It gets a boost. It goes Nico Collins as your number 1, Christian Kirk as your number 2, Jack Beck as your number 3. Your fourth wide receiver is going to be a battle between John Mechie and Braxton Berrios. And your fifth wide receiver is going to be a battle between Justin Watson and Xavier Hutchinson. With that being said, I do like Jack Beck here. And like I mentioned, would not surprise me if he starts making plays early. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. My final selection in the third round, just 10 spots from where we selected Jack Beck, which is why I think the Houston Texans are going to make a trade. But if they stay, I once again invested into this offensive line, and I went Dylan Fairchild, offensive guard from Georgia, 6'5", 318 pounds. I don't see a RAS score here. But Dylan Fairchild is a powerful and technically sound offensive lineman with the versatility to excel at guard or tackle. Known for his physicality and aggression, he can at times tend to the aggressive side, which can hurt his technique and positioning. Fairchild's quick feet and balanced stance make him effective in pass protection, where he handles speed rushers and anchors well against power. A lack of experience is a concern with limited collegiate starts, and he could need more development than other interior offensive linemen in the draft. However, those starts are in the SEC, which sets Fairchild in a good position heading into the draft. He also has football IQ and positional flexibility, having been a two-way player in high school. So I went with Dylan Fairchild here, and maybe he has an opportunity to forward the left guard spot going against Titus Howard. Now, I would give the nod to Titus Howard. I think regardless, Titus Howard is going to start somewhere on this offensive line in 2025 for the Houston Texans, unless there's a trade or he somehow gets released. I don't see that happening. I see Tytus Howard here to stay. But when you look at this draft, I went heavy on the offense. However, with my first selection, the first round, I went with not Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, solidifying this Houston Texans defense and the future of this defensive tackle position. I went with Jonas Savaiinaea, offensive guard, Arizona, your starting right guard of the future. Wide receiver, Jack Beck out of TCU, your wide receiver 3. And I went Dylan Fairchild, offensive guard from Georgia, with pick 89. Now, I think right off the bat, you got 3 day one starters, and Walter Nolan, Jonas Savaiinaea, and Jack Beck. Maybe Dylan Fairchild works his way in there later on in the season. But I think your offensive line of the future is whoever the hell at left tackle, Dylan Fairchild at left guard, Drew Scruggs at center, Jonas Savaiinaea at right guard, and Blake Fisher at right tackle. The Houston Texans could go into this offseason needing a left tackle. With that being said, guys, you let me know your thoughts and comments on this mock draft. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free and follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very, very, very